Okay, so we've set DLSS to DLAA, which means we use the DLSS for upscaling, for anti-aliasing only, no upscale. Dynamic render quality, can I set it to off? Right, anyway. So we'll just manually set each of these to max. Full reflections RTGI. Each of these to high. Ultra. Everything ultra. Track texture. The highest is high. Okay. Is the way I can set the dynamic render quality to off? Seems not. Performance target 60 resync auto. Let's run benchmark. It'll take a while to load for the benchmark. So for introduction, this track is added just a few days ago, I think within a week. So it's one of the tracks that I've been waiting for. I think it's in one of the very old Forza Motorsport games. Many people were asking for it, and they finally brought it back. This game has been out for a year already. Of course, it's not as popular as Forza Horizon 5. But I think I like this game more because Forza Horizon is a little bit too gimmicky, a little bit too childish. But that's just me. I think most people like Forza Horizon a lot. But I played for a while. I played that for a while as well. That's not bad. But yeah, I think this one. Yeah, I think this one gets me more. The exception is that because this one is more a racetrack game, so the racetracks can get a little bit boring. That's why I can never get in there to any F1 games because the racetrack is there's nothing to see basically except the sky and the track. I like this kind of like racetrack games, but I don't like the actual very racetracky racetracks. But I think in this game most of them are those racetracks, whereas in games like GT7 you get more scenery racetracks. Although it's still a racetrack game, I think it's got more of them. But in this game, so they've added this racetrack, which is quite scenic, I think. So I'm going to play this again. Let's set up free play. Let's go with the Subaru track. Okay, so this is the Fujimi Kaido. Let's do noon first. So I'm just using a controller to play at the moment because my sim setup is connected to a 4090 laptop. So I'm not using any wheel at the moment. This is my study setup with the 5090 and 9950X3D. In the living room setup or the sim setup, I use a 4090 laptop with I think the 13th gen Intel. And one quick thing about that, I've seen reviews of the 5090 laptops, and to be fair, I'm not sure I'm going to get one of those because the improvement over the 4090 laptops is minimal. For 5090 desktop over 4090 desktop, you get still, I think, around 30%, give or take, of improvement. But for laptop, it's really bad. I think more or less it's limited by the power supply because I think the TDP is limited in laptops anyway. So since the 4090 and 5090 are basically using the same chip architecture, the reason that the desktop version is able to boost by 30% is, I think it's they are able to boost the power by a lot from 450 watts to 600 watts. So that's that. And of course, there's a much larger chip. But for the laptop, I don't think that's the case. I don't think they can push TDP anymore, because I think the largest power brick on the market would just be around like 330 watt. Okay, let's go with behind the car scene, so that we can see all the ray tracing goodies in there. Okay, 67, 70 FPS, not too bad. And let's go back to the normal view. When playing this kind of racing games in a controller, with a controller, I usually use the bumper view. That's the front of the car. I think that's the easiest for me. Some people like the behind the car. I can never do behind the car driving. I'm not sure why. But this view is good for me. Of course, when I'm on the view, I'll use the cockpit view, just this one, like normal. But if I'm using a controller, I like to play like this. So I'm sorry if you don't like this view, but yeah. So it's rainy weather. So typically in a rainy scene, the FPS is much lower. I'll compare later when I finish this race and see what it looks like in normal weather. And I think at night the FPS is also low, because you require a lot of ray tracing calculations. Okay, let's do the cockpit. I think I need to use the handbrake for this one, because I've seen many people using like the drifting techniques. But the thing is, I don't even remember which one the handbrake key is. Oh, it's the rewind key, not handbrake. I suspect it's X. No, it's not. Oh, it's really bad driving. Sorry, guys. Yeah, once you get used to driving from a wheel, I think it's a little bit hard going to the controller. But at first, when you just first bought a wheel, you will kind of regret it, because you will feel that the driving from a wheel is so much harder. But once you've got used to that, I think there's no going back. And of course, because I think the going prices for direct drive wheels have come down considerably in the recent years. I think it's really worth getting one of those builds if you have the space. I think the biggest concern is space, and especially for someone living in the city. Otherwise, if you're living in a house, for example, and you can have a dedicated room for a sim rig, then it's no brainer that you should install some kind of sim rig for your racing games if you like them. Just 1 second. I think the screen is a little bit washed out. Must be a calibration thing, right? Brightness calibration. Yep, here we go. Yeah, I think we're good. Right. The black FM logo should be barely visible, but that's not visible anyway. So I'll just tune it down to 0.5 maybe and see how it goes. This is the kind of thing I would like to see on a racetrack. And I think that's the reason why I like rally games a lot. They are real tracks, but you get to see a lot more things than going around in a lap for like 42 laps. I could never play any F1 game, to be honest. I watch F1, but I can never play any F1 game. Yeah, but still, I think in comparison with driving a real car, it's quite different. So I've driven many sports cars. So I don't think any of these sim racing rigs can match the feeling of actually driving a sports car. I mean, even in VR. If you can do VR, I highly suggest that. Especially like for games like EA WRC, they've added VR support. If your PC is powerful enough, I definitely recommend that. All these other games, I'm not sure. I don't think Forza has supported VR up to this point. And I think the best one implemented so far would be GT7. I mean, on the PS5 Pro, it looks really good. Yep, I think I've found the button for handbrake. It's circle or B. Yeah, I think it feels much better now. Still got to be very careful because it's in the rain. So I think the reflections on the tarmac's quite good. And you only get to see this if you are driving in the rain. Oops. Of course, it's hard to drive in the rain. I hope this game is coming out for PS5 Pro as well, so I can. And if it supports PSVR 2, then I'm definitely going to get it. Because currently it doesn't support my Quest 3. Or as far as I know there are some programs that let you turn any 3D game into VR, but I haven't tried that yet. Another thing that I would like to try would be Euro Truck Simulator. I hope that's fun. I suppose I'm still in the last place, right? Because I don't see any rival cars behind me. Oops! I hope I've set it to cosmetic damages. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to finish the track. Let's just use the brakes. Yeah, I'm curious to see how the drift cars would fare on this track. I think it'd be really fun. And now I'm going to use it on my wheels. So I've got this wheel from Forza called RS2. It's the, I think, the biggest circular wheel. It's a non-formula wheel, like the wheel that you see in a normal car. And I think that'd be fun using that wheel to drive this. Or I can switch it up to the ES wheel, which is the the fundamental or the lowest grade wheel from Forza. That's a smaller wheel, so that may be advantageous for drifting. I don't know how about you guys, but I think under the rain, the screen just looks a little bit washed out, a little bit foggy. Maybe it's because of the reflections, but yeah, not extremely impressive if you ask me how this track looks in the rain. I still think the track in GT7 is still superior. What's the track with the forest one? The one with a lot of trees. The one that appears in every GT. I forgot the name. Ooh. Going downhill is much more fun. I think going downhill would be more challenging if you are using a drift car. Won't be there yet. It's like a long track. But I think it's fun, don't get me wrong. At least it is much better than the other actual racetracks that I've driven on. This one is much more fun. Yeah, I'm just very arcadey person when it comes to racing games. I know people would swear by games like iRacing and Assetto Corsa, and they only play those games. To me, I never play those. I mean, iRacing, of course, the graphics are a little bit dated if it's unmodded, and Assetto Corsa. I've also put some benchmarks before on Assetto Corsa Evo. I think that one looks great. Yeah, it was still a little bit too realistic to my liking. Oh, I've started another track. Let's go back. Let's go back to Fujimi. See, these kind of tracks I just don't feel them. I mean, maybe fun for people who want to like break your own records for a certain corner and stuff like that, but not for me. I like a very short track and you go around for I don't know how many laps. Yeah, I think it's the A key, not the B key. Yeah, anyway, let's go back to that track. I really haven't paid attention to the FPS, sorry guys. Maybe in this one I'll check. But in the rain you get above 60, 70 maxed out. I think it's pretty good. So we do clear, mostly clear, one lap. I'll see if it performs or looks better. Okay, pretty much the same. I don't see a lot of difference, 70 something. Yeah, I think we're on the high 70s and I think it looks much better now. Yeah, it actually looks much better in clear weather. Smoother as well. I think there's some slight frame time stuttering when it was raining. Although I'm seeing like averages of 60, 70 FPS also. Yeah, it looks so much better in clear weather. Not sure if you guys can watch that, can feel that on the YouTube stream, but to me, this looks much better. I mean, even smoother. Wow, this one looks good. You can finally see what the track looks like now. Okay, A is handbrake. A or cross on your PS5. Was totally stopped right there. You get the actual mirrors here. I think in some games the mirrors are really low quality, and I think in a couple of games you actually get like 60 FPS in the game, and you get a mirror in 30 FPS. And that's really weird. Wow, this looks nice. So in the monitor, you'll see that I'm still using the same software but different fonts. So can you guys tell me? I mean, for the Astro software, that's GPU 3. I guess I'm not showing that right now, but in the power detector settings, it now says normal. So before it's just normal. That means your connector pin for the 12 volt connector is running fine. So if any current in any pin goes over, I think it's 9 ampere, then we issue a warning. Now there's like two normals, two words, both saying normal. I'm not sure if one of them is related to the reason gyroscope function that they've added to the software. Maybe that's that. I'm still uphill. Am I so slow? God. Now we are racing. Oops. I hope I would do better on the wheel. So this is like the 5 hairpin corners in the initial D. It's giving me that vibe. Okay. Starting to learn how to drift in this game. Yeah, clear weather is the way to go if you want to really experience this track. Of course, at night you can see nothing, none of the scenery. But I think at night generally it's more taxing on the hardware. Wow. Starting to get the hang of it, but on the controller. Oops. Oversteering. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so that's the track. Just want to share this with you guys. Very happy with this game. I think they've come a long way since launch, and actually it's the second time I've played this since launch. So, and they've added some other functions. You can check out the announcement by Xbox Studios and some other YouTubers. Now that's the short stream for today for Forza Motorsport. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye.